Okay guys, just wrapped up with the Bassmaster Classic. Headed down to Shreveport, Louisiana for the 2019 KBF National Championship. So we have not been on the water yet. We spent all day rigging, getting things ready, getting our boats prepped. So I've had a lot of people asking me how I rig my boat, how I set it up for tournament, what kind of tips and tricks I use to capitalize while I'm on the water. So I thought I'd do a quick video and kind of show you guys how I get my boat ready and how I store all of my gear for tournament prep. All right, so let's start at the back of the boat. Now, keep in mind, I probably take more and gear up more than your average person. There is, in my book, there's never such a thing as too much. So I've got my Hobie H crate, and before a tournament, I typically think I have a pretty good idea of what I'm gonna bring on the water. So I've actually got about 20 to 30 of these full of different tackle and baits. What I will do is I will determine kind of what I think I'm going to be throwing. So a lot of my finesse stuff, a lot of my, any of my drop shot stuff, swim baits, A-rigs, all of that, I'm actually leaving in a tote here because I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to need them. So a lot of my top waters, jigs, hard baits, rattle traps, crankbaits, spinner baits, chatter baits, terminal tackle. Take a second to go over the CalCoast Battle Box. This thing made my life so much easier when it came to organizing some of my terminal tackle and a lot of my Texas rig stuff. Let's take a look at that. All right, so we've got the CalCoast Battle Box. Let's take a look inside this thing. Look how organized that is. So you can see I've got from a 1/16 all the way up to an ounce of my tungsten bullet weights here. On these bullet weights, it's really nice because you have a plunger that keeps the weights quiet. Pretty nifty little deal. I've got my most common hooks are your EWG offset, and I throw anywhere from a 2/0 to all the way up to a 7/0. So I've got all of those there loaded up. I've got pre-rig Carolina stuff, 3, 4, 5, 6/0 worm hooks here, a couple spare packages of hooks here, and some accessories for worms, pegs, and then your Nico and Wacky Rig stuff here. So pretty awesome way for me to organize all of my terminal tackle. Waterproof box here, super durable. Really excited these guys came out with that. That's CalCoast Fishing. The micro power pole rigged up on the back. This thing makes your life so much easier when it comes to fishing shallow water, especially when you've got a little bit of a breeze. You can hold your position really well, line up against the bank. Really happy to have a power pole this year. So I will typically take anywhere from 10 to 12 rods with me tournament day, and usually maybe a couple more pre-fishing. I carry 5 rods on each side, typically 5 or 6 on each side. Hobie makes an option to have a rod holder here. I actually don't use those. I prefer not to, but you can see there's 5 rods there, and I'm actually waiting for a few rods to come in, so that will hopefully be filled up when that gets here. All right, so let's take a look at how I do storage up here by the seat. Hobie makes one of the most comfortable seats in the world. Several adjustments here. So what I do, and this is kind of my unique little way of storing my plastics, I have about 6 of these. One with finesse baits, flukes, Senkos, creature baits, big worms. And what I'll do is whatever I think I'm gonna be using the most of, I will bring these 2, and they're kind of like my backup. So I've got flukes, caffeine shads, everything here. And then, of course, a whole extra thing of Senkos. So whatever plastics I think I'm gonna be using often, I'll keep back stock here. And then in this front hatch, I kind of switch out. There's 2 options. You can have 2 terminal tackle storage, but obviously I use my H crate back there. I actually take and put the square bucket here. So I have my power pole control here, a wacky tool here, whatever other tools I want to put there. But whatever plastics that I know that I'm using most often go right here. So I've got all my big worms, I've got creature baits, my favorite creature baits here, and I'm not gonna get too close and show you what I like to throw, but whatever baits I'm using for the tournament that I found that to be very productive pre-fishing, all go here. Again, extra reserves here, different assortments and variety. What I can't carry goes there. So just a really unique way to kind of store extra plastics for me. And like I said, the other 4 plastic totes will stay at home. Back of my seat here, I keep a buck knife apparently. And all of my leader line stays back here as well. Pliers here. CalCoast donkey leash over on this side. HDS 9 Live. Really looking forward to using this unit. This will be my first year with that, going from the Elite 9 Ti. I've got the GPS puck, the 0.1 here for pinpoint GPS. That thing is awesome if you're wanting to get as accurate of waypoints as you possibly can. Let's take a look up front. So up here, this is where I will store my safety flag, all Kitex, other swim baits, extra camera mount. Super important to keep a pair of snips. I always like to have them on my life vest. Hand paddle, and this typically gets filled up with all kinds of odds and ends. I run the BioEno 20 amp lithium battery. That'll run my large unit and my GPS for about 3 days without having to charge it. So that's a pretty awesome deal. Plus, it doesn't weigh very much. So as you know, my boat already feels like it's loaded down. Lithium batteries are a lifesaver. So as you can see, my 2019 Hobie Pro Angler 14 is equipped with the marine mat. Awesome way to kind of customize your boat. Gives it this kind of really neat look to it. It's a lot quieter if you're fishing shallow waters, not to spook the fish. And overall, it just looks good. Well guys, sun is starting to set. That is just a very quick rundown of kind of how I get my boat ready for tournament prep, what type of gear I take, where I store it, and it's pretty amazing how much stuff you can get into this boat. A lot of times we'll pull up to a ramp and guys will be absolutely amazed at how techy and how advanced and how much these things look like mini bass boats. So hope that kind of shed some light onto what I do for tournament prep and how I set up, rig my boat, what kind of stuff I have on my boat. And you can take some of this stuff, apply it, find neat ways of your own to store your gear and make it easier out on the water. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you kayakers here in the next few days. It'll be an awesome time. I think the fishing is going to be incredible. This full moon tonight should be moving a bunch of fish up. So I think we're hitting it at just the right time. Stay tuned for some pre-fishing videos and a tourney recap from the KBF 2019 National Championship. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.